So I'd like to bring up a coincidence that I didn't get to share on our episode when we did the speed round and we were talking about coincidences.
Should I have apologized in our apology episode?
No. That was the format of the episode, and I chose to violate it by going long, and I got smacked down for it, but that's fine.
Are you extending the coincidence from last time?
Well, it is tangentially related, but completely different.
Okay.
It has one common element. For those who remember that previous coincidence, it pertained to my father and a relationship in his past. This other coincidence also has to do with my father, but for a completely different reason. When Tracy and I moved out to Los Angeles, we were living in an apartment in Beverly Hills, which was unbelievably cheaper than what we were living in Manhattan. There was we lived in the corner where there were 4 apartments sort of up the top of the stairs, 2 floors. And everyone kind of just hung out with each other. Everyone had dogs. It was great. It was lovely.
There's a coincidence coming.
There is a coincidence.
Okay.
Jeez. It's called setting the scene.
Okay. Dogs. Go ahead.
The dogs actually have nothing to do with the coincidence. But one of the couples that lived in that sort of corner, and this was all of us before we had kids and everything, his grandmother, my friend Phil, came to visit, and his grandmother saw the name.
I need a diagram.
What
for
are you
this.
doing?
I just gave you the episode 1 what I thought meant tighten up a little
What is
bit.
happening? I need one of those big boards with pieces of yarn.
This is why a minute was not enough for me.
Clearly.
But you guys don't I'm coming in hot here.
I don't remember who all these people
I
are.
don't remember anything you said 7 seconds ago. I'm so...
I will get to it.
Oh my gosh.
I want to set the stage.
So much stage.
It's a lovely proscenium.
It's a large stage.
Oh my God. All right, keep going. Get us there. You just land the plane. Let's go.
Listen, I'm holding off the theme song. So,
Okay.
All right, so be happy.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
So Phil's from New Jersey. His grandmother comes to visit. She sees the name Rab on the little, the door with all the buzzers and everything, and is like, huh, that's weird. She asks him, hey, do you know the people that live in that apartment? He's like, yeah, we know, Ben and Tracy, whatever. She's like, does he have a grandfather or a relative named Sheldon? And it's like, yeah, that's my dad. Turns out this woman not only knew my dad from the 1940s back east in upstate New York at the summer in the Catskills, but had a photograph of him when he was 16 years old that I had never seen in my life.
In her wallet?
Not in her wallet.
But it was back at her house?
It was back at her house, yeah.
Did she go get it?
Well, she had to, she mailed it from New Jersey.
She mailed you the original photo?
Well, she mailed it to Phil, and Phil gave it to me.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Right?
That actually is a crazy
coincidence. Well, thank you very much. See? Have I just jumped in and said it, would you been like, eh. Right?
Had you just said, I once lived in an apartment and this woman came by, saw the name on the door and said, hey, who's Sheldon? I got a picture. I've been like, oh,
none of that information would have been relevant.
I don't know.
Because that's not how it happened. It didn't say Sheldon on the thing.
No, it said Rab.
Right.
But some woman.
But the way you distilled
some
it,
old woman walks.
It wouldn't have set the
Some
scene.
old woman walks by, knocks on the door. She's like,
but it wasn't some random old woman. I mean, it is kind of, but there was connection and
some random
stranger,
old stranger I don't know, sent me a picture of Sheldon.
That's not how.
That's a coincidence.
Nothing makes me happier than when Paul's giving Ben tightening notes.
I didn't even
Tighten it up.
You did the
Tighten
hand
it
signal.
up.
I didn't say tighten it up. I just said I need a board with yarn to figure out where the story's going.
It is a little bit of a murder board of a story.
You did the hand.
I gave you all the relevant information so that you can imagine how it all went down.
That's pretty good.
Do you have a coincidence that you can do in less than a minute?
On the spot? No, I don't.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think yeah.
Oh, I was just
I don't
curious.
think so. I'll come up with something.
All right.
I'll tell this very quickly. I once was trying to get a well-known actress attached to direct a project. On a Monday, I talked to her manager. He said, yes, send it. 2 days later, I'm driving down Ventura with Jen, and we were like, we needed to pick up a bottle of wine somewhere. And randomly, we just saw a liquor store in the corner, so we pulled over to try to get something from there. And as we pulled over, right there on the street, next to the car was that actress and her husband coming out of a restaurant. 2 days later, her manager called and said she wants to do the project.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Right? Or there's another actor that we sent a project to on a Monday, Tuesday, and on a Thursday, I walked into a Malibu juice place, and he's standing right there.
I've got an Animal Kingdom coincidence.
Go ahead. This is tied to the dogs from the original story.
Well, yes.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, go ahead.
You remember Zeke, our dog that we had for 17 and a half years. He's the reason we got kicked out of that apartment because the landlady, who apparently was a pharmacist that gave Saddam Hussein medication.
Excuse
I don't
me?
know.
What?
She kicked, even though it was a dog-friendly building, she kicked us out because we didn't clear with her that we were getting a dog, even though everyone else had dogs. Anyway, point is, because of that, we ended up buying our first house, walking in our old neighborhood. This is the second house technically, but I was walking in the neighborhood, and I literally thought to myself as I'm walking, it's like 11 o'clock at night with Zeke, and I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to see any coyotes, because I've been hearing them. Literally, no joke, as the thought leaves my head, I turn to my right, I walk up the street, and there I see 3 coyotes going down the block, and I was like, whoa.
That's crazy.
That's very crazy.
Me and the Animal
You
Kingdom.
thought coyote, and then you saw coyote.
I saw 3.
Did you think 3?
I didn't. That's the thing.
Oh, it tripled your thought.
It did.
Wow.
Magnified
Well,
it.
I did. My mom did warn me to, stay away from rattlesnakes on Fryman, and I saw a rattlesnake. Is that a coincidence? Sort of a
there you go.
coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They say, I was reading an article about these coincidences we all have, and a scientist was saying that, in fact, actually, we view all of these coincidences as things that are like the odds are insane. But in fact, like you think about the town, the cities we all live in, running into somebody we know somewhere is not that surprising. Like the odds are actually really in our favor. Although the Sheldon thing does feel
It's crazy. That's the other coast.
fairly crazy.
Other coast, separated by a nation and time.
Or is it, though? Maybe like there's some other higher power bringing you there so you can get a photo of your dad.
That's true.
And so the question is, what happened to that photo after you got it?
I have it.
And what do you do with it?
I put it in the book.
Was it right? Was it him?
Yes.
And it's in the book now?
Yes.
And
Why wouldn't it be?
Where's the book? Can
What
you bring the
book is it? What book is this?
It's in one of the photo books.
It's
photo
in
albums.
is it a photo album where the plastic film goes over the photo?
As opposed to the pockets.
Yes.
That's a good question. I don't remember what era of photo album it comes from. Those plastic cover or plastic,
they were horrible.
They're the worst. Absolutely the worst.
Really bad.
Yeah, the adhesive would ruin things.
Yeah, like you couldn't open it more than a few times without it losing the adhesive.
Yes. Yeah.
I spit on those photo albums.
Wow. Like if you show up at my house, you're going to come over and spit on them?
spit. I have a bunch of them. They're horrible.
My mom still has a ton of those things.
Yeah.
And keep them tucked away.
We should make a Wada photo album that is better it's made for a better society.
I
Better society.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Go ahead, Mitch. What were you going to say?
last time I was home, I was looking through one of those photo albums, and I did not know this, but my parents did a photo shoot for our motel. So there was all these photos of them lounging around like on beds, like looking all casual, trying to like do laundry or like, iron your shirt, and my mom doing makeup and my dad pouring a drink and whole like.
Was it like for an advertisement in a magazine?
No, it was like when you used to come into the motel, you would say like, hey, how much do the rooms cost? And we'd give you like a pamphlet, and the pamphlet would be like a little brochure, and it'd be like 3 pages or something like that, and have a bunch of pictures of my mom and
I want to
dad.
see this.
So they were a selling point.
They were the selling point.
All right.
My dad had a good head of hair.
Is this somewhere? Can we see this?
I'll bring it. I'll get it.
I want to
good.
scan this.
You know what?
We should scan it.
Hey, Jojo, if you're listening, call one of my nephews, because you don't know how to do it, and get them to scan it and send it to us.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
We'll get it.
Let's play some music. And we're back.
Now we're back.
And we're back. Mitch was talking about his brain and his synapses.
I'm tired.
You're tired today?
I'm tired, yeah.
Not firing on all
It's
cylinders.
not, I'm not there yet.
Maybe today's topic will fire cylinders.
I think it's going to.
I feel it. Whose day is it for the bowl?
Wait, what day is today? Today's Monday.
Yeah, we're recording this episode on a Monday.
Another Monday for Monday. All right.
Yeah.
A Monday for Monday.
Feels like Friday.
Does it?
We're supposed to do it on Friday, but you got sick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got sick.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. Just got a little sore throat, a little cough, a little head cold.
Did you cancel all your meetings?
I didn't cancel all my meetings, but I did cancel you two.
Wait a second.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
No. I mean, I wasn't in person. I was over Zoom.
Wait. You didn't cancel any of your stuff on the day.
No.
You mean the things you do for a living?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
You just canceled.
I canceled you because I didn't want to get you sick.
I appreciate that.
I was just being a kind person.
Did you stay away from Kristen?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not much.
No, I did.
Did you sleep in the same bed?
No, we didn't actually.
Oh, you separated?
And then Macy came home on Saturday night and started crying because she thought something was wrong with us.
No, she didn't. Are you being serious?
She did
No.
not start crying. But she did come in and she looked at us both and she like, because she had a friend with her. And she looked at us, she goes, "Are you guys okay?"
Because where were you sleeping?
I was in the bed and Mom had the couch made up. So it was a little
Wait,
telling.
Wait,
So
how come she got displaced? You're the sickie.
Well, because she can sleep anywhere. If I sleep on the couch, I
I
don't
see.
sleep.
I see.
Wow. Okay, well, so listen. I think that it's a valid cancellation if you did not sleep in the same bed as your wife.
Yeah, we were legit.
Okay.
So I'm better now.
You need a note from your parents.
Never
Right.
know.
All right, grab the bowl.
Here we go. Whose turn?
Paul.
Paul's?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on, let me shake it. Let me
Oh,
right.
I'm going to mix it up, too. I'm mixing it up. Do we have a theme song for mixing up the ideas?
No.
Nope. Not
AI,
yet.
AI would probably
not
have one for
yet.
us.
Damn you both to hell.
I could write some really great lyrics.
Mixing up the bowls.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Macy did say, Paul's a good writer. Those are fun lyrics.
Those are fun lyrics. They are fun lyrics.
Oh my gosh. This is not my handwriting.
This one might be mine.
This requires
It's gonna be mine.
How
this
to spell it.
requires some reading. Oh my gosh.
That might be my handwriting.
What?
You can't tell, really?
This all right.
Maybe that's got to be me.
Is that you? That's you.
No,
That's
me.
Mitch.
This is Mitch. The topic is.
By the way, wait, before you say, remember when Mitch never got a topic pulled?
Yeah, I know.
you're getting a lot of topics pulled. Who had it better, Mitch? Our generation or our kids' generation?
That's the topic.
I'd like to think we're not done.
That is the
You mean
topic.
at that age?
Yeah, at that age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who had it better? Do you want to, Ben? Do you want to write something on this
Yes,
piece
I
of
do.
paper?
I want to put the number.
This is episode 1, 2, 3.
Correct.
1, 2, 3. That's never going to happen again.
I thought it was worth a conversation. I don't know where I land on it yet.
How old is this topic?
This was today.
It was today.
Today. Yeah.
Huh. Was this one of the ones you came to the table with already? Meaning, sorry, was this one of the two that were already deep in your psyche or the third?
I actually was already thinking about this one.
Okay.
All
It
right.
was-
So tell us what caused you to think about this topic.
Well, I was thinking about the way I was raised, and I was thinking about the way our kids are raised, and I think we sort of touched on some of this before. What are you laughing at? Why are you already laughing?
Why are you laughing?
What the?
Well, now they have a fridge pig in their lives.
Oh, no, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, by the way, hold on. I'm sorry to stop.
yeah.
But
yeah.
so Daniel's girlfriend Christina, I told you guys before, her family listened to all the podcasts over the episode.
Yeah.
They bought a fridge pig.
No,
They
they
did?
did not.
They did. Her mom bought a fridge pig.
Are you
For-
serious?
for
For who?
Just for all of them. Anyway, okay, I digress.
Wait, but can you buy a fridge pig new?
I mean, used, but
You buy it's the old one that was made to torture Mitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
okay. Anyway, so go ahead.
Anyway,
That's
so
crazy.
I so I was just sort of kicking it around because there are moments when I think our kids are not ours. Sorry, there are moments when I think my kids are spoiled, and I'm like, do I spoil them? Is it my fault? You know, and I've just been sort of dealing with that a lot. And like, Owen needs to get a job, and you know, Macy's getting a job, so that's all good. And I know you're going to say, well, it's not easy to get a job nowadays.
Sophia finally
got
one.
a job.
Oh, she did?
No, I don't have a job yet, but Sophia did. Yeah,
Oh,
she's working on Hot Topic at
Oh,
Universal.
nice. That's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just, I was thinking about the way that I was raised and the way my dad raised me, and he was a tough ass and my mom was not, but my dad was. And I was like, but the benefits of all that were that I learned how to work. I learned discipline. I learned not to, you know, show up and whine, whatever. Like I learned all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of put your head down and grind and like actually knew like what a dollar meant, like all those things. Not to say that my kids don't know that, but, and as I'm talking out loud, I'm putting a lot of this on myself because Chris and I were having this conversation over the weekend, and I said, some of this has got to fall to us because I don't know if I was like, I don't know if they know what it feels like to pay a bill. Like by
Sure,
the time I
sure.
was their age, I knew how to pay a bill.
Okay.
So that was sort of where the story or sort of the topic came from over the weekend. I was just sort of debating again, and I don't know because there's plenty of things that I can point to from my childhood and plenty of things that I can point to from their childhood where I'm like, I think they might, they've got access to way more information than we ever had. Like all those things that you could deem as, a great sort of advantage that they might have over our generation. I don't know.
So how would you say your father was hard on you?
He made us work really hard. He made all three of us work all the time. Actually,
Meaning working in the family business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, it was sort of a badge of honor for him. If you weren't like you never sat around and did nothing. Like that just wasn't going to happen.
And did you dislike him for forcing you to do that?
For sure. Not in a bad way. I just like typical, teenage angst and like my buddies who were not forced to work and they were sort of just doing their thing. I would get pretty pissed off at that. But
What about you, Dad?
But in hindsight, I'm like, thank God he did it. Truthfully, thank God he did it because
It built your work ethic.
100%. Like I look back on that now, going, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I went through it. And by the way, I think our kids probably have good work ethics as well, but they've just got a different experience. I don't know. So
I hear that.
I mean, I was mad at my father for making me get a job to pay for my car insurance.
yeah,
I remember as a kid, I wanted a pocket knife, and I had to the fact that I had to save up for this pocket knife for weeks, because the allowance was so small. And then just because I threatened my sister with it one day, they took it away. I'd saved all this.
I wonder
all
why
this
they didn't
weeks.
want to give you money for a pocket knife.
They took it away after I had saved all that money for it. And I remember there was like a ghetto pocket knife, and then there was like the Boy Scout pocket knife, and the difference was like $4. But I was so desperately wanted that pocket knife, not to threaten my sister, but then I did threaten her, and they took it away, and I never got it back. But I was so pissed at my parents for forcing me to get a job to pay for a car insurance to have a car.
that might have been actually where this conversation started from this weekend because we were talking about getting Macy a car, and I was like, part of me wants to make her pay for insurance or something. Like she's got to learn how to pay for something.
But why does she need a car in college?
Well, she's going. I think she might this year because she's going to be living off campus, so she might this year.
There's
So
Uber.
yeah, there's Uber for sure. We've had that conversation.
We should just decide right here and now.
Well, and that could be the
does
thing you pay the
Macy
bills
get a
for.
car? or
Does
not?
she get a car or not?
I don't think
Oh,
she gets a car. Do you think she
shit.
gets a car? Ben, what do you think?
I mean, I do see the value in helping because that opens up possibilities for other things like getting a job. But
Well, maybe if she pays for some aspect of the car.
That's my point. Gas, insurance, something.
paying for gas. I mean,
Gas is expensive.
Well, you know what I actually did think of this weekend? I was like, like the benefit of a car then, like when we were, but it still exists now, we could do it right now, is you can like get in your car, take a drive, and escape, right? And just like clear your head and do all that. And I was like, she might need to do that because, like when you live in a dorm or if you live in like the sorority house, you can't do that. So that was the other benefit of I was like, it's not the worst thing.
I mean, my older daughter has a car, and she won't take it to college, but that's what she does all the time. It's like, all right, I'm going out for a drive. Just listens to music
Just
and
listen to
drives
music. Yeah.
to get alone time
Yeah.
away from the house.
I mean, look, we lease our cars, so we it's a few years every time it's a turnaround of something else. And when Sophia was at school, we had only 2 cars and 3 drivers, and then Sophia came home and we have 4 cars, and so we needed just by necessity we need a 3rd car. But it's not it's obviously it's in our names and the kids get to use them, but like give them allowances, give them stuff to to pay for the gas and things like that. But like, I don't know. I mean, part of me feels like yes, it is important to teach them the lessons. I also feel a little bit of parental responsibility to sort of be a bit of a safety net here and there for things. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's other ways to teach kids the value of a work ethic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, part of it is just going out and getting a job and starting to work.
Yeah.
Because the second you do that, you sort of understand you're not the center of the universe. You understand you have to show up and be responsible for something.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of benefits to it. I think, and by the way, I totally agree with you. Like, we absolutely are like a safety blanket for them, right? They can always fall back on us or whatever. But it's more of, I was like, am I doing a disservice by not forcing them to learn how to do it? And not to get too deep on the podcast, but it was more of just, that's where the whole topic came from.
I think, again, you can force the lessons. You can. What we discovered this year with both our kids is that, in instances where we didn't force, they did it themselves anyway.
Yeah.
Like, Daniel just had a banner year in school and got straight A's and 2 semesters in a row, which, started freshman year not in that place, ended up here at a really crucial time. He did that himself. Like, we weren't over his shoulder going, we weren't helicoptering, doing any of that shit. We're like, get what you get, and he wanted that and he did it. Sophia, the job she got, she did it all by herself. Like we literally did nothing to help her with that other than to instill in her the belief that I can do this, I need to do this, and now I have to figure out how.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good.
But so your question is, do they have it better off than we do? I actually think they don't.
Yeah, I agree.
I think social media, we had this freedom, this carefree kind of like childhood growing up where
we were feral children.
We just, you left your house, like on a summer day, you left your house, you rode your bikes, you just were out and about. I often think so fondly of just the 80s and 90s, these decades of going to a movie theater. Like, there was no streaming. There were key network channels, but it was like, it was such a shared experience of just music and movies and entertainment. And when you were out, you weren't connected like the way you were. Like, you were in a car, you weren't talking to people. You had time to think, to listen to music, have conversations. Like the kids now, people just in general, not even kids, people in their 20s and 30s at this point who grew up with all that technology. I think I was just reading, so I don't know if you guys were telling me, someone was saying the Surgeon General was talking about putting warnings. No, I was listening to CNN or something today.
Yeah.
Warnings.
That wasn't me.
Warnings on social media services
now. That's right. Yeah,
wow.
that too. Yeah.
Because it's just, I think they have it worse.
By the way, I tend to land on that side as well.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, to grow, think about growing up, not even growing up, just think about, now when your social circles have excluded you from something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You, as adults, all you see are the good times that everybody's having on social media. So it's like, oh, I didn't take my family to Hawaii this summer.
Right.
Am I a horrible parent? Like, we're all faced with everybody's perfect vision of their day-to-day lives, whether or not, the reality is it's not perfect. Everybody's got something.
And it's all curated.
But it's all curated, and you don't know, so you get in your head and you're like, well, shoot, I'm not doing any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these kids have grown up in a world where that's just what it is. And I think they're worse off for it. I really do.
And it's funny, because we were the generation that was told you will probably not succeed your parents, right?
Right.
We're like, there's a ceiling, and you're going to hit it, and oh well, and imagine how much harder it is for them. Like everything we live in one of the most expensive cities in the country. We know how hard things are for them. Like whether it be in the workforce, financially, having houses. Just being able to have the kind of life that previous generations could easily have afforded with far less work.
Yeah.
I do think they have it worse off than we do. That's a bummer. Makes me sad.
Yeah, I wonder where they have it better I wonder where they have it better than we do. Right? Like they've got, they do have, again, they've got access. There's certain parts of their lives that are way easier, right? Like homework, because you've got access to so much information and like all that stuff, right? Those pieces feel like they're easier.
Right, there's upside to it as well. Right?
Sure, for sure.
I think one of the ways that they have it better is creatively. If you, not even just creatively, if there is something that you want to chase as a career, as an interest, the world is a much smaller place. If you are, 30, 40 years ago, if you are a kid in a small town who is gay or trans or any of these aspects, you feel alone.
Right.
Today, it's like you can find where you belong in a way that you couldn't when we were growing up.
Sure.
I think if you want to be a writer, a director, a musician, a performer, any of these things, you have the ability to create. This is what we're doing, right? We are back in our day, if we wanted to do something like this, we'd have to find a way to be on a radio station, right?
Yeah.
Like the ability to get out there in front of people in a way that they could never do decades ago. That's great. It gives people the opportunity at a very low cost to entry to make themselves known.
But at the same time, they're when everyone's doing it, the odds of success and the rewards that those things once upon a time would have gotten you in those fields are significantly less. Because of modern social media and streaming services and all that stuff.
Right.
It's like,
did you guys when you were there? So when you were like 18, did you know what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You didn't?
No.
You wanted to be a rock star.
No,
No?
Because I knew I wasn't good enough, so I knew that wasn't going to happen. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I had no idea.
I mean, I knew the general space that I wanted to be involved in entertainment.
You wanted to be in entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producing, writing, something like that.
Yeah.
But you, Ben, you didn't? I
No.
feel like you knew that.
No, that actually always surprises me. I always thought you knew early on.
It's a fucking miracle I've gotten to where I am.
When did you transition to Marvel? How did you get that job again?
Well, I mean, again, I'd written in college. I took a couple of screenwriting classes, and in the early '90s, I had got those was able to get those in front of the right people.
Right.
That got me the internship at Marvel Comics, which then led to the start of my career. But at that point, like I didn't come out of college going, "Oh, this is a job I could have." You know what I mean? Like there was no awareness of working at Marvel Comics is an actual career choice.
But once you were... Sorry.
When you went to Michigan,
Yeah.
what did you think? What did you go to major in?
English literature.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I thought I was going to go to law school, and then I had an epiphany in Bible class that made me realize I do not want to be a lawyer.
In what class?
Bible class.
This is a secular class?
Yeah, Bible is literature. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. With Professor Ralph Williams.
And so you
had big hands. Used to wave them as he would tell you stories about the Bible.
You were taking a class about the Bible,
Yeah.
and that convinced you didn't want to be a lawyer?
Well, I just, I was just sitting there and thinking about, like, okay, I'm in my senior year, and it's time to, I got to sign up for the LSATs. And I was like, I don't want to do the LSATs.
Is it because you had the tuna sandwich? Is that what it was?
No, that was I ended up taking the GREs. I thought maybe I'll be a teacher. And, yeah.
Wait, where does the tuna sandwich come
Remember
in?
he told about what they told him to eat before he went to take his test?
Brain food.
Sandwich.
Tuna sandwich and a banana, and I had 2 bags of Skittles and some Mountain Dew.
Do you
I fell asleep in the middle of the test.
This is a bit of a non sequitur, but do you guys remember Pink Dot?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So Pink Dot, for folks who aren't from the West Coast or Los Angeles, I don't know if it still exists. Does it still
I don't
exist?
think so.
It was like a late. It's
not there anymore.
It's something else now. I don't think it's
you
there
could
now.
order basically any food you wanted at any hour. Like, so you'd get home from partying and you'd be like, oh, God, I need a pint of ice cream and whatever. This was before like Postmates would go to the store for you. So it was Pink Dot, but Pink Dot had a thing called the Tuna Avalanche. And
that sounds terrifying.
It actually is terrifying if you think about it too often. It was a huge, long French bread roll filled with tuna fish and cheese, and it was like a melt. And the fact that I would order it at 2 a.m.
Oh my God.
and eat it, now I think about the mayo. Eventually, over time, that more and more mayo would come in the tuna avalanche, and so it started to become questionable. But
this generation doesn't have that.
they don't have the tuna avalanche.
They don't have the tuna avalanche.
They are worse off for it because of
I
that,
think so.
I think. I've been wanting for like years, for decades, and I've never done it, and I don't know why. Maybe I will. Is to go buy a huge French bread roll, make tuna fish, hollow out the French bread, shove it to the top, fill it with tuna, and then just eat it on the couch.
Will the tuna have celery in it?
No celery.
See, apropos of last week's conversation about vegetables and celery and all that. Like, I once had at school when I was in like 3rd grade, lunch was a tuna fish sandwich, and there was celery in it, and I didn't know it was going to have celery in it.
And
like,
you're allergic to celery?
No. It crunched, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, up until that point, it's 6 years old, 7 years old. Like, all my tuna fish had just been tuna fish and mayo, and like nothing else. And then that happened, and I was like, "I'm never eating this again."
I always have. My tuna growing up was celery and red onions.
Oh.
I hate both of those things.
Yeah.
The celery in tuna, not so good. Do you know, I once was eating there's a restaurant here called Kings Road Cafe.
Best coffee in town.
Is it the best coffee?
So
It's
good.
that good?
It's so. By the way, I'll drive to it to get the coffee.
Oh, wow.
It's insane.
They had for years like a lobster club padini sandwich of some kind. And I'll never forget, I was eating it and something crunched. And I swallowed it and I kept going, and then I crunched again. And I took it out of my mouth, and it was a piece of glass.
Oh, shit.
And for months, I was convinced the glass was going through my body, ripping up. I was concerned, like if ever I had like a little pain, I was like, it's ripping up the insides of my body. And you know, with those things, like people don't seem to care. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want another one? It's like, I just ate glass.
Right. I would like $1 million for the loss.
Like,
please.
Keep your sandwich. Give me $1 million.
The amount of times I had to Google, like, will eating glass, hurt me?
Oh.
Would you have been thinking? You would have been thinking. Well,
Oh
you
my
thought
God.
you were having a heart attack for like months,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah, my
You
shoulder.
thought you were having a heart attack,
Yes, that's right.
but you
But-
weren't.
By the way, did you go did you check out? Did you go to the doctor and see if you were having a heart attack?
No.
You just sat at home thinking I must be having a heart attack.
Correct.
What? That's crazy.
But it was like an
Listen.
ongoing thing for a while.
Yeah, it was for a while, yeah.
You are the epitome of what's wrong with men. Men just sit at home and is like, I'm fine. I'll figure it out.
Listen, no,
No, but it wasn't even that. You would go out and you'd be like, I think I'm having heart attacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, well, why
Are
don't
you
you go to the hospital?
serious?
Yeah.
How do you not know that story?
No, I did remember it. I don't remember him being so nonchalant about it for so long.
Did he ever
That's
say?
crazy.
Didn't he ever say to you, I think I'm having a heart attack?
I knew he was having like heart palpitations and like
It was more like it's the thing on my shoulder was like my left side was constantly hurting my arm. Like it was a mess. It was
I
probably
think
just my shoulder.
Tracy might have made fun of you constantly at work. I think that's what it was.
That's true.
Saying
That's
Ben
a
thinks he's
fair
having.
Do you
That's a
look?
fair point.
Do you look on WebMD?
No, that's not going to happen.
Is WebMD like a nightmare for you?
No. I mean, again, like I'm still here. So
I think WebMD is the
Sorry.
worst thing you can ever look at.
At the same time, it's the best thing you can ever look
You
at.
always have-
especially if
it
it gives
always-
you the right answer.
But it always gives you two things. It's like
Right,
you're
and
either
they're
dying
conflicting,
or it's like
be
a skin rash.
right. Could be this. Could be
It's
that.
a rash or you're dying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that? I don't know. That's another reason why our kids have it worse off. That's that's my segue than we do. There's too much information. Too much information. When you look and you search stuff, you inadvertently always find the worst case scenarios because people aren't spending time on the internet writing about stuff that's good, right? They're writing about anything bad that's happened to them or a bad reaction or
Yeah.
this or that.
And
Like,
we've entered the misinformation era age.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I mean, somebody I don't know why put up a Wikipedia page for me.
For you,
They did?
Yes, and
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
information is accurate, but then there was a whole bunch of stuff that was on that I was like, none of this is accurate. This is not like anything factual about me, and I'm like, well,
Do
this is
you
creepy.
sort of? Did you ever at any point think that Paul might have done that?
I don't know.
He could have.
Can I tell you something?
Feels like something he would have done.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Because I felt like
What, you did it?
Listen, we need.
Was it you?
If people search us, there needs to be articles about us.
It's been there for like decades. Like it's been a
Yes.
couple of yeah, but
It's when we first met.
No,
I did someday. I thought coyotes, and then I said to myself,
there's nothing about coyotes. On it.
Got to be there.
Let me tell you a story about Wikipedia really quick. I once.
Maybe you shouldn't tell it.
I don't know. I once had a blog when I had one of my first books coming out to promote. I wanted to promote my writing. It's my Consumer Joe book.
Yeah.
And I had a website, and I would literally write in it every day. And I had a good following, hundreds of thousands of people coming to the site on a monthly basis. It was fun. And one time I ran into around L.A. Remember Christy McNichol?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So she was on what show was she on? Family.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's around L.A. So
She showed up on some of the Battle of the Network stars.
That's right. So I ran into her. I didn't talk to her. She was at a patio furniture store in the Valley.
Okay.
And so I posted an article about how I ran into Christy McNichol. And this was always tongue-in-cheek website. So I faked a conversation I had with her. And somebody in the comments, I probably shouldn't even talk about it. Somebody in the comments wrote, but I don't think this person's listening to our podcast. Someone emailed me specifically and said, is she okay with the fact that you posted this story about her? And I said, oh yeah, Christy's fine, all is good. And then
Was it her?
No, it wasn't her. But this person then posted on their website this article about me running into Christy McNichol, and about how she didn't think she thought I was doing something wrong. And before I searched, this is where it gets to Wikipedia, before I took too long to look at her whole website, I wrote a post about her on my website, like kind of making fun of her because she was doing this thing for me on her website. And then went back to her website and realized, oh shit, I should have never done this. This woman was crazy. And she would like had all of these articles about men that she was. Anyways, it was the start of sometime we'll talk more about it, but she went into my Wikipedia page and not only started putting commentary about how everything on the Wikipedia page was false, she went and started calling old employers, checking that I actually worked there so she could justify on the Wikipedia page that certain things were lies, which they weren't. It was insane.
So can you just go in and like delete your Wikipedia page?
You can't delete your Wikipedia page. There's a whole moderation thing that goes on behind the scenes. Like there's a whole, anything that anybody adds, there's like a whole back section of dialogue of people, editors, like just, okay, this is going to stay. This is not real, blah, blah, blah. But normal people can go on anybody's Wikipedia page and change stuff and cite why they're changing it.
God, that's crazy.
But that stuff, that made me feel, again, like this example of we live in a world where you got to be, like, I just wrote a post for a second, right? I saw how crazy this website was, and I deleted the post. But guess what? The post was out there already.
Right.
And it will never go away. It's like stuck out there.
The internet lives forever.
And the fact that everybody uses, it's just like how we use our cars. We feel like we're invulnerable in our cars by somebody cuts us off and we honk at them and we don't think about how they're going to react.
Or they're not going to stop in front of you and pull out a gun.
They're not going to do that. Like that's the thing with the internet and everybody being connected. We believe, everyone feels like they're protected. And so everybody acts 10x what they normally would in the real world.
10 times? Is that 10x?
10x is 10 times.
Okay.
And it's a scarier place. Like the things people can find out about you. It's again, I love the simplicity of our lives before. I don't know who, I think it was Jerry Seinfeld's wife posted something on Instagram recently about this phone that they got their son who graduated from college a flip phone. And she's basically they're trying to simplify, to get rid of all the apps.
Yep.
And she was talking about a phone now that you can buy that it's the phone, it's a camera, it's text, but it's no email, it's no apps. And I was saying to my younger daughter, I said, if I give you like $250, will you switch out your phone and I'll get you this phone? And she was like, no way am I doing that. But I don't even think I could. I would aspire to live a life where I don't have all the apps on my phone. But then I'm like, well, then how do we post for the show? And how do I, there's just things I can't be without now.
Yeah, I mean, they're as much as I, enjoyed social media for a while, I have stopped enjoying it a little bit. I love you, the fans that are on social media and following us. Thank you, I appreciate that. But I as part of my daily existence, like, it's just become the time suck of it all has become most evident now because there is so much just opinion and like spite and anger and frustration and criticism, and it's like it's the worst of us coming out on a steady stream of data, which is really I don't know. I don't like it.
I wish we could all agree to just go back to.
Well, we might be inching towards the other side of this because you do hear like the number of reports that are out there now for making an argument against social media, especially for kids under like 13 or whatever, are tenfold. Truly, they're. So that, and also I think there's just a natural sort of like what you both are saying in terms of this. At a certain point, you just start to feel a little overwhelmed and distracted so much to the point where you're like, just get it out of my face.
Yeah.
And I think like you're starting to feel it a little bit. I mean,
but it's so frustrating though that I understand that these are businesses and they need to make money, and that's why we're being bombarded with the ads and why the algorithm is sort of putting all this shit in our face instead of the things that we've elected to follow, like our friends or family or whoever. That you gotta be goddamn Indiana Jones hunting, for the lost ark to try and find anyone that in your feed because there's one that you recognize and then there's 5 other things that you're like, I don't follow this. So, unfortunately, the powers that be don't seem to be interested in giving us the thing that made us want to be there in the first place. So it's almost like you want to strip them of that power, just don't fucking show up.
So I think we've determined they're worse off.
They are worse off.
They're worse off.
And
but we're worse off too because we're in it with them.
Yeah.
It's true, but at least
Yeah.
we can remember what
we
this
do.
was like.
Yeah, and the music was better.
And the music was
Well,
better.
then there's that.
And the movies are better.
And the movies were better.
No, they were better, Ben.
No, I know.
They
Yeah.
were.
Oh,
He
no,
agrees.
I thought
he
you were
agrees.
second guessing.
No.
No. I mean,
It was all so much better.
So good.
But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, in my day we had it better. You kids don't know how good you got it. Like, I don't want to be that.
No, we're
either.
actually talking about like creatively. It was just better time creatively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because again, like every 9 out of 10 things, movies, whatever, were original ideas.
Sure.
Or
But we're talking about the world,
I
right?
know, yeah, no,
Like,
yeah,
'cause
no,
I mean,
no.
there was some shitty shit in our days too. like,
Sure.
for sure.
For sure.
so I don't know. Maybe it's always just been shitty.
Well, you know,
Goes back to my earlier question.
Well, the one
in
thing I
previous
would say,
episode.
you sort of touched on this, and I do think like this is something that they will never get. I was watching the Beckham documentary,
Mhm.
right?
That was a
You
good
seen that?
documentary.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like when the Spice Girls came out and Posh and David hooked up and they started dating, and like they were at the time they were saying like in the UK it was basically like the second coming of
Christ?
Jesus.
no Diana and Charles.
Charles.
yeah.
And but but they were talking about how it was like a shared experience for the entire country, right? And like
Yeah.
that's something you just don't get anymore. You don't
No.
get the shared
Yes.
experience of like a Saturday Top Gun comes out, or Michael Jackson drops Thriller, and you're like, you still remember exactly where you're. They don't get that anymore,
Right.
which is crazy. to
Well,
me.
it's funny you say that. I think some of us may have watched this Andrew McCarthy documentary about
Yeah.
the Brat Pack.
Yep.
They said the same thing. Like that could never happen today.
Right.
Because there was not this shared experience around movies and these actors and actresses. Like it's too
Segmented.
fractured.
Yeah.
The entertainment is fractured to the point now where you just don't get a mass amount of people focused on any one thing.
But there are stars that are out there, and among the young actors coming up today that are really making their mark.
Among the young actors.
well, like
Among the young children
today.
Oh, those young whippersnappers.
Listen here now, it's Timothy Chalamet. We love that Timothy Chalamet.
Right, but that's the thing. So you put Zendaya in a movie, right?
What's her
Dune. Zendaya.
No. It's Zendaya.
Zendaya.
Sorry. Oh, okay, excuse me. I'm old. Anyway, but you put them in a movie, you get Dune, right? Like you throw in a Florence Pugh. You throw in
Puke.
no, it's Pugh.
It's Puke.
Pogue.
No, it's Pugh. You throw in Austin Butler.
Austin. It's not Butler, it's
Right?
Butler.
Oh shit, I'm getting them all wrong. But you see what I'm saying? Like these, but there's no critical mass where all of them are in a movie together like it was back then.
True.
Right? Like if they did that,
If
maybe
they
you
did
would.
St. Elmo's Fire
Oh,
with
so
all of
good.
those actors you just
I
mentioned,
didn't like that movie to begin with, but okay.
maybe that would be interesting.
By the way, weren't you a little disappointed and a little shocked at how they never hung out together? Like I was so bummed that like they just completely hauled ass.
You're
Like,
saying
the-
all those actors
Yeah,
from
the
the
whole
Brat
Brat Pack. Well, once it happened, they all just basically never talked to each other again. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Think
they
about
didn't.
that.
They didn't hang out, and then there were all these other actors who just weren't a part of it.
Right on the
Yeah, on the
peripheral.
cusp.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Leah Thompson. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Funny how-
interesting. But I was shocked that they like. Because by the way, Kristen actually said it. And it was a good point. She's like, if those guys would have made 7 more movies, they would have been blockbusters. Everybody would have gone to
Sure.
see them. They
Mhm.
just
But by the way, they all did have success around that time period. I mean,
They did.
They all made movies. They all worked, and I don't think you could say that like they completely like disappeared.
no.
It all continued. It just didn't continue at that same level.
Right.
And I think, that's in some ways that is the reality of Hollywood. Is that some people manage to stay up their entire career. Other people, wane a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they come back. I don't know.
So can I segue as we're reaching the end of this episode?
Sure.
I have a question for Mitch that I don't know if you can answer or not. Oh my god! It's summertime, which means reality television, which means the return of a show that we all love, which is Big Brother. I'm sitting here having to watch like Love Island right now. When the heck is Big Brother coming back?
July 17th.
Is there anything you can say to the audience out there that is public domain knowledge or maybe a little tidbit of information that can get people excited? Are you excited? How you feeling?
I'm really excited. We just locked the cast. We've got our creative locked.
Nice. Will you be using the fridge pig as an element in the show this year?
You know what? I haven't brought it up, but I should.
You gotta bring up the fridge pig.
I should.
I was
would be
listening to.
awesome.
I don't know which episode we were talking about it on, but I think Ben and I would agree that we are not looking for any credit at all. It's your story.
$30.
It's your story.
$30.
But wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes.
If the fridge pig, you got to think about how
You
that would
have a
work.
fridge. It's one right there.
Do you think
put
that
it
the
in.
Twitterverse would go ballistic saying they were fat shaming the entire house?
Yes, but maybe there's a way that you can. The fridge pig is not about not eating food.
And by the way, or we just say screw it and just
Give it to Zingbot.
I mean, listen, the Zingbot is mean.
Come on.
The Zingbot, I love the Zingbot. The Zingbot is mean to people.
yeah. Zingbot is mean.
So,
Zingbot the Zingbot is brutal.
right?
I don't know.
There's a mean streak running through that show.
All right, so July.
Do you guys ever feel like the Zingbot goes too far, or do you
I
feel
don't,
like it's
but
right on the cusp?
I think it's on the cusp.
Yeah.
There's
think
a
it's on
couple that you're like, that hurts.
I'm impressed that the Zingbot goes where the Zingbot goes.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
Yeah.
So it's how many weeks is? Because I remember last summer it went long. What's how many? weeks?
Last summer was 100 days. This year we're doing a little bit less, but still long. I mean, still
90 days or something?
Yeah, same amount of episodes.
Nice. I'm excited. I can't wait for it.
It's going to be fun, actually. They've got a really good theme. That's going to be good.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right, we're excited about that. And Ben, when will you be appearing on? You're on a reality show as well this summer.
I am.
Dude,
Yes,
Ben
it's
would be
the 24-hour podcast recording reality show. We should film that.
12 hours.
We should film that.
We should film it as a documentary.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we are building a. This is amazing.
Hold on. This just hit me as I'm sitting here looking at YouTube.
This is amazing.
We're all
I
going to be
think-
wearing black T-shirts.
I think Ben would be the worst reality contestant of all time.
I would.
I actually think Paul would be a pretty good reality
I
contestant.
tend to agree with you.
Right? Isn't that a good thing?
That is a fair assessment.
Because
Why?
Paul
Why?
can he likes to play mind games and he likes to sort of get in there and fuck with people. I think Ben has got a very high sort of moral compass. And I'm not saying, Paul, you don't have a moral compass.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But Ben does he wears his heart on his sleeve and he'd be like, no, guys, it's okay. We're okay. What's the problem? Whereas Paul would sort of delight in all things chaos and be like, all right, I got this.
Do we not have somebody in? Wait, I'm trying to remember which episode it was our last episode where we came up with the idea of the 12 to 24 hour.
Yes.
It was our last episode.
Yes.
We're still talking about it, but I think that somebody in our circle who is a documentary filmmaker films it as a documentary while we do that.
Look at Ben.
I mean,
does not wanna do
it's a one night only thing.
That's right.
Only
All right,
if it's up in Big Bear.
All right, well-
One night live from Big Bear.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Gentlemen, it's
listen,
been a pleasure.
no need to do it this time. Let's just jump straight to it.
Yeah, this is Paul.
This is Mitch,
This has been.
and this is what we've been talking about.